Hey roamers, we've made it to the Texas coast. We're here in Galveston, Texas.
Where we're checking out all the free and affordable things to do on this episode.
I'm Jamie.
I'm Linda.
And this is Roaming with Rosie.
It was just 90 miles from our last stop in historical Tomball, Texas, to Galveston Island State Park. Part of the Texas State Park system, Galveston Island State Park is split in half by the highway. There's a beachside portion, and across the road, there's the bayside section. There's day use and camping areas on both sides of the park, and the entire park is over 2,000 acres. Beachside offers trails for walking or bikes, as well as water activities in the Gulf of Mexico or picnicking on the beach. Campsites are available both beachside and bayside. All sites have fresh water, and they range from tent sites to RV sites with and without power. We chose Space 52, a spacious beachside spot with electricity on the last row so that we could see the ocean from our site. Of course, there is the dunes in between, which are nature's way of creating a buffer between ocean tides and storm surges and the campgrounds. On the bayside, there's paddling trails for kayaks and canoes. There's hiking and biking trails as well. And something we didn't know, you do not need a fishing license to fish from a shore in a Texas state park. The park also manages a couple of 3-bedroom houses located on the bayside. They can be rented by the night or by the week. We did an easy hike on the bayside. Mosquitoes weren't quite as bad as they can get here, but we covered ourselves in repellent just to be on the safe side. We are watching for alligators. We crossed over to the bayside, where there's alligator warning signs everywhere. There's these towers here where if you go down the trail a little ways, you can go up high and you can get a better view.
I just want to go up there to see if there's any alligators around.
We have seen some videos from other people from the area, and this can get quite buggy, but the sun came out today, and at least at this time we haven't seen too many bugs yet. But we're all sprayed up and ready to walk up. Can alligators come up it?
Yeah.
But would they want to?
Probably where an alligator walked right there.
You think? I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think water ran down there.
No, it's alligator.
You think there's an alligator down there and that they trampled all the grass down?
Yep. There's a black car over there and there's no one here, so it probably ate that person. Drug him into there, ate him, and it's still hiding in there waiting for the next person to come and get. Like right now we're on Alligator Bridge where there's an alligator each end of the bridge and we don't know how to get off of it. So.
But it's pretty.
Yes, it is.
And there's people fishing, and we've seen a lot of fish jump out of the water.
Yeah, there's a guy over there fishing who's standing in the water waiting to get eaten by an alligator. And
there's really well-marked trails in here, and lots of them. There's 2 viewing towers. So there's one right over there. That one's a little bit farther hike than where we are right now, but there's one right next to where you park. So if you're not into hiking or walking any great distances, the one right by where you park is pretty cool. You can get up there and you can see like 360 degrees what the area looks like, what the marshland looks like.
Yeah.
So this is one of the north tips of the park. So go right on this bay over here. And it's so nice since the sun came out. It's actually blue water. Galveston Island has some interesting history. White settlers managed to overwhelm the island's native populations by bringing disease and famine. But then came the pirates. By 1817, the infamous suave and well-dressed pirates, the Lafitte brothers, used the island to receive slaves and stolen goods. They weren't really of the sword-wielding swashbuckler type, probably more like mob bosses. They were kicked off the island in 1820. However, there is still some buried treasures yet to be found. The state park where we're camped is a bit removed from the main part of the town of Galveston. As you get closer to the busier portions of the island, there suddenly are no more dunes. As I mentioned earlier, those dunes are a natural barrier for storms. Built between 1902 and 1904, the seawall is 16 feet wide at the base and 5 feet wide at the top, which is 17 feet above the mean low water level. The wall is 10 miles long, and the surface of the entire city was increased up to 12 feet above sea level. Why did they build this wall? We visited the Galveston County Museum, which is free to enter. There we learned more about this and the island's history. So something I definitely advise that you go to if you come to Galveston is the County Museum. It's right in the courthouse, and it has so much information from the early 1800s, actually going all the way back to prehistoric, and the animals, the indigenous people, and then it comes up through the immigration and settlements and everything else down here, but especially a big influence on that 1900 storm. So definitely come by here. Free parking, free admission, and somebody to answer questions. The Great Storm had 120-mile-per-hour sustained winds, but most people died of saltwater drowning. At the museum, we learned of Isaac Klein, the island's chief meteorologist who traveled by horse around the city trying to warn people on a beautiful sunny day. By the way, that seawall proved its value in 1915 when an even stronger hurricane did far less damage. So it's interesting to see this Russian exhibit because my family came through Ellis Island, at least the ones who came legally, they came through Ellis Island from Russia. Well, Galveston was evidently considered another Ellis Island, another port, and so Russians also came through here. The museum visit brought our attention to the remains of Fort Travis, located across the bay from Galveston Island on the Bolivar Peninsula, and it was the perfect excuse for a free ferry ride. We're about to get on board the Bolivar ferry from Galveston Island to Bolivar, where we're just going to go check it out. The ferry's free. It's pretty organized how this works. It's about 11:30 on a Tuesday morning in April. And what would you say? We waited about 20 minutes?
2 years.
Jamie said 2 years. Looks like the upper deck's kind of cool. So once we leave the landing, then we can get out. Dexter has to stay in the car. Yeah, you gotta stay in the car on the ferry. I know, you never been on a boat. You never been on a boat. Oh, I know. So that's the Naval Sea Park. If you're military or retired military, you get in for free. As seniors, I think we get in for about $6 or $8. So this is free. It goes 2.7 miles from Galveston to Bolivar. We'll go check out today Fort Travis. Oh, that's the ruins of the concrete ship over there. And then Crystal Beach, but we'll go check it out, where there's free camping for an unlimited time. It's supposed to be very hard packed and okay for big rigs. We'll check it out today. So you can feed the seagulls off the back of the boat here. So that's Galveston, where we just came from. That is out to sea, to the Gulf. Lots of oil tankers. That gives some meaning to the poop deck right there. So again, you are allowed to feed the seagulls from the back of the ferry, encouraging more seagulls to fly all over the ferry. The first Fort Travis was built on the north end of Galveston Island to protect the Galveston Harbor entrance soon after Texas declared its independence from Mexico by becoming the Republic of Texas. This Fort Travis, the second Fort Travis, was established in 1898. 4 batteries were built between 1898 and 1943. There was 27 buildings for enlisted men, officers, a mess hall, and others. All of those have been demolished. The fort was occupied through both World Wars, and German prisoners of war were interned here during World War II. It became a public park in 1973. So the guns that they had up there, they were able to hide them, and they had the special cannon that rose up. This land is basically flat, so obviously these were built and then they covered them with the mounds. If anyone knew the lay of the land, though, they would know that there's no hills here. The Bolivar Peninsula, where Fort Travis Seashore Park is located, suffered catastrophic damage by Hurricane Ike in 2008. With a 20-foot storm surge, it exceeded the 17-foot seawall built after the 1900 hurricane. There's been renovations since 2015, and there's an online 3D tour you can watch as well. The Bolivar Peninsula is home to a Margaritaville RV resort where there's concerts throughout the year and plenty of activities. You can even rent an RV to stay there. And there's several other RV parks in the area as well. It's also quite popular to own or rent an RV lot here. This area was wiped almost clean by Hurricane Ike, and most everything you see has been rebuilt since then. We also checked out Crystal Beach. With a Bolivar Beach parking sticker with its only $10, camping is allowed anywhere on the 27 miles of beaches here, and campfires are allowed. We were here on an overcast weekday. However, we were told that it can get jam-packed on weekends in the summer. There's a link in this video's description. And we're in the row to go on the ferry. There's not been a long line. It just seems like there's been no ferry. Like, we pulled up here and we're trying to get back across to Galveston, and we watched a ferry leave soon after we got in line, and that was like 20 minutes ago. So I don't know if they took a ferry offline, maybe during quiet times. They can have anywhere from 2 to 5 ferries running depending on traffic. So this is a Tuesday afternoon. It's probably not a busy time. We've watched a lot of big ships go by. Our advice, Jamie's like, pack breakfast, lunch, and dinner. He's starving. There you go. This boat's leaving. We didn't get on. Definitely plan more than an hour wait, even in the middle of the day on a Tuesday. So it looks like they just put another ferry in service. As soon as it leaves port, we're going to try and go up on top and see if we get a good view. In downtown Galveston, finding free or cheap parking can also be like hunting for pirate treasure. Since we were into walking anyway, we found some street parking a few blocks away. The beautiful architecture of Galveston's historical downtown is not only unique, but it gives you an insight into the determination of survivors following the Great Storm of 1900. Greta the garbage shark. While filming the trash shark, I looked over at the restaurant next to it. The food looked really good, so I Googled Yaga's Cafe, and the reviews were very good as well. So we popped in for lunch, and our food was appealing and delicious, and there's a link with a coupon in the video's description. The Galveston and Texas History Center Museum is housed in the Rosenberg Library, which was named for its benefactor, Henry Rosenberg. It was built in 1904 and is the oldest public library in Texas. The museum is free to enter, and it focuses on Galveston from the city's incorporation in 1839 through the present. I would say if you have some extra time, then definitely stop by to see it. The library itself is stunning, and there's more of the collections on another floor which we didn't get a chance to see. A highly popular thing to do here is take the historic home walking tour. There's a brochure at the visitor center as well as some tour groups. I put a link in the description for the map. We were able to look it up online and drive around to see a lot of the beautiful homes, many that survived not only the Great Storm, but also being lifted up above the floodlines. We enjoyed one more restaurant on the west end of the island. The location is appropriately called the West End Marina and Restaurant. We had a peaceful lunch overlooking the water at the upstairs Palapas Bar and Grill. Our food and the service was excellent. There's so much more to see and do in the Galveston Island area. We were here in April after spring break and before school is out. Definitely a quiet time of year to visit. Temperatures in April were mostly on the cool side, and the only complaint would be the frequent wind this time of year. Our campsite's list price is $35 per night. However, with the Texas State Park Pass, we had one night at half price. Entry and daily fees are waived at all Texas state parks to cardholders. On our next episode, we'll be visiting 2 more Texas state parks as we make our way to South Padre Island. Palmetto State Park feels like another world. The canopy of the trees creates a feeling of tranquility. And we had our first visit at a full-blown Buc-ee's that's right nearby. We'll also show you Lake Corpus Christi State Park, which offers spacious campsites with activities like boating and birding. We've put links in this video's description for all the places we visited here. While you're down there, you'll see that there are so many ways to support the work we're doing. We do make a small commission on some of the links to products and services that we use and recommend, and it's no additional cost to you. Thanks for hanging out till the end. And if you enjoyed this episode, go ahead and give that thumbs up a click, because that way it'll help other people find this video.
And we'd really love it if you'd share it with your friends and family if you found this video helpful. And if you're not yet a subscriber, make sure and hit that button down below.
And ring that bell, because that way you'll be notified every time we upload something.
And make sure to leave a comment, that way you could be part of the conversation.
Until next time.
We'll see ya.
See ya.